Normally I'd start my videos off nice and happy and full of energy, but go back to my first 6 months of publishing with KDP and it was a bit of a disaster. And in this video, I want to actually show you my journey so it will actually give you a bit of an insight into what it really is and the truth behind publishing with KDP. Hi, my name's Romney and thank you very much for joining me on my channel. If you haven't seen my videos before, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell, and make sure you give me a like if you like these videos. So the video today is to give you the truth about my first 6 months in publishing, because like many of you, there are times that can be quite challenging. When you start off your publishing, you're promised all this money that will come in passive income, and when you first start your books and experiment with a few things and you load your prized possession of your book up onto Amazon and you don't see any sales, and then you try another book and you don't see any sales, and then you might put up another 5 or 10 books and you still don't see any sales. Well, my journey started off in the first 3 months making next to nothing at all. In fact, I'd spent about $5,000 on a course to try and learn how to make books, for that money to really be thrown out because I didn't make any of that money at all. So I want to show you my journey for the first 6 months of self-publishing, and to give you a bit of an insight by showing my income so that you can actually see what the journey really is like for self-publishers, or potentially can be like. There is the occasional story where you hear that someone will create their first book and it will be a bestseller, but for the majority of us, like me, it took a lot of hard work and a lot of persistence and commitment to really build up my portfolio of books so that I could actually start to generate some good passive income. So let me jump onto my dashboard now, and I'm going to show you what my first 6 months in KDP was really like. Now, the start of my journey began back in November 2019, and I was actually looking at doing high content books, and I went through a course, and the high content books for me I thought was the way that I was going to be able to generate some income. So I started off on KDP in November, and you can expect that in your first month when you launch your first book that you're not going to make anything. Well, not much. I thought I might make a few dollars. Well, in fact, if I look at my November month, I made absolutely nothing in my first month, and I'd spent about it was around about $3,000-$4,000 on a course, and I thought I was actually going to be able to make some good money. And at that time, I had a full-time job as well, a 9 to 5 that I was working. So let's go to December, and again, I made $0. So I'd been going for 2 months. I probably started midway through November. December was my first sort of full month into KDP publishing. Again, I hadn't actually gone into low content publishing at that point in time. I just had a couple of high content books. Again, I was really disappointed. I thought I'd done everything I needed to do, and obviously not. So let's go to January. And December is the biggest selling month on Amazon, by the way, in Q4, and I still made nothing. So let's go to January 2000, and I still had made nothing. This is a time when I'd invested all my money, or a significant amount of money, and I'd made some books, and I thought that being an author was the way that I was going to be able to make all my money and have an opportunity to be able to derive a passive income that would really help. So you can imagine how I'm feeling. I've had November, December, January, and no income. Let's go to February 2020. 2020, I thought, with everything going on in the world, I thought it was going to be challenging, but not this challenging. So let's have a look here. I made my first $31.15 through a couple of my books. So I thought, here we go, I'm off and running. And as I mentioned, I had been doing high content books, so that was the ebook royalty there, paperback. I did get a sale in Japan. It wasn't in Japanese though. And I made, I think, one sale in Australia. In March, I decided to change up, and I thought I saw a video about low content publishing, and it really was attractive for me because I thought I have an educational background. I can design things. Well, I thought I could at that point in time, and I thought I'd give that a bit of a go. So I created about 5 books that I thought should do quite well, and I wasn't very good at niche research or anything like that. So let's have a look how I went here. So now I've been into from November, December, January, February, March. I'm on the 5th month of publishing on KDP, and I've made the grand total of around about $120 US, maybe not even that. So I made another few sales. Ebook royalties from that first couple of books were coming through. I think I sold 2 paperback books for a grand total of $41.98. And mind you, I was also spending money on Amazon advertising. And at that point, I think I'd spent around about $500-600 in advertising. Again, I didn't know what I was doing. I was spending money, and it was a really big lesson for me. And I'm hoping through my lessons and my videos for you that I can show you how to avoid the same mistakes that I made. So let's have a look here. I made 96 cents on an ebook in Australia. Germany, 1 ebook sale, and that was it. So that was my first few months. So what was it? November, December, January, February, March. It's 5 months. Let's see what happens in April 2020. So as I mentioned, I did start to produce some low content books, and let's see if there was a change for April 2020 while we load here. So it did start to kick off some more, although the ebook royalties were still sort of coming through. I started to generate some paperback royalties. I think I had about 7 low content books at that point in time, and then I, again, just ebook sales here, and really the paperback, it might have been around about $40 in low content books. So that was my first 6 months. If you were to include the low content and the high content books, I was probably up to around about $450. And that's where I've been publishing for 6 months. So for the investment of time, resources, money, effort, I really didn't know what I was going to do. I'd been spending money with Amazon advertising, and by this point in time, I think I'd spent about $1,000 US. I was going backwards at a rate of knots. And so I really had to change up. And so I really started to focus on my low content books, started to develop ways of finding good niches, wanted to research more, watch some more YouTube videos, like sort of the ones that I'm talking about today. And I'm going to fast forward to December 2020. Mind you, for the first 6 months, I'd made all that, about $450. Let's fast forward. After I made that commitment, and I made that strong commitment to ensure that I was focused and I really wanted to put everything into it. So let's go to December 2020. And mind you, before I click on this, I'd made 0 in December 2019. So let's have a look and see. So this is the change. United States, $1,632. United Kingdom, $2,131.90 pounds. Canada, $3,623 Canadian dollars. And at that point, no other country, Spain there. So I did a calculation based on the conversion rate of right now. It was $7,365 that I made in December. And that was a huge turnaround. So in the next 6 months from when I'd made about $400, I'd made $7,300. So it was a huge turnaround, and it came down to watching and educating and looking at how those that were doing well were actually teaching those methods. And they're the things that I really want to teach you. So there you have the first 6 months of my KDP journey. And I wanted to give you the truth, because there's a lot of videos that might promise that you'll make a lot of income in your first month or so of publishing on KDP. And for some, you might just do that because you're learning from the mistakes that people like myself made, and I'm trying to share my experiences with you, my knowledge, so that you can actually accelerate your self-publishing journey much faster than what I ever was able to do. So remember, if you like these videos, to give me a thumbs up, to subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you can actually create, build, and scale your self-publishing business and start to generate some great passive income. So until the next video, make sure you look out for that. I'll see you then.